Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to El Cockerel. It's Friday, the 12th of July, episode 21, Light at the End of the Tunnel. And with me today, better late than never, 24 hours later than planned, got Colin. Hello,
Hey,
Colin. How are you?
I'm well. Really good to be here as always. And yeah, I've learned, make them wait. The people, if you make everybody wait, then whenever you get there, everyone's extra excited to see you. So hopefully that worked out. And yeah, like you were saying, it's Friday. Can't beat that, man. End of the work week.
For me, already, just now, but for you,
Yeah,
you still got today to go, haven't you?
I do. And I don't know though. It's Friday. Hopefully everybody's in a good mood. Has fun weekend plans and doesn't call and yell at me today. That's my hope, at least. But we will see. We will see.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but apart from that, you're good, though, yeah?
Oh, great. Yeah, everything's going awesome.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic. It's going to be a bit of rehashing here because I don't know whether Alan's around. We've messaged him, but I don't know whether he's about. There's a couple of things that so there's some things that we discussed yesterday that there's been some more movement on today that I wanted to discuss, and you and Alan would probably know better because you know U.S. law better than what we would know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I kind of think you might know because I haven't told you yet, but I think you might know where I'm going with this.
I think
I
I do.
think.
It has to do
Okay.
with some certain South American players.
Certainly has. Yes, certainly has. But before
Yeah.
we carry on, let's say hello to a few people. You've got just a harmless potato saying hello to us.
Hey, hey. What
Good
is up?
afternoon, good evening, good morning to you, just a harmless potato. Welcome and glad you're here. Likewise for Cy Dancer. He says afternoon all. Good afternoon, Cy. Hope you're well. Or good evening or good morning, whatever it may well be for you. And we have Audio Artisan saying afternoon, Jose,
Hey.
Colin, and chat. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, audio to you as well. Um, so basically, I didn't get your take on it, and I don't want people to think that I'm rehashing old news, but it is. But the banners I had yesterday, I haven't changed them because I'm going to ask you the same question I asked yesterday. Is
It's
it
good.
coming home? I know it's not your home, so to speak, but it was for the panel that I had yesterday.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
where is it going, Colin? Firstly, have you been following or watching the Euros?
I have been. I have been. Not maybe as closely as I would like, just because the matches are on while I'm at work. But blessed to work from home, so I can throw it up on one of my monitors and just kind of watch it at least a bit. So yeah, I've been following as closely as I can. Uh, Pretty much every time England plays, I've watched, um, just to get some Harry Kane nostalgia in. Um, but yeah, I haven't. So the only match that I've seen Spain play was their match against France. But you ask, is it coming home? I feel like that's a trick question because for you it is, regardless, of who wins. But yeah, do England have a chance? Yeah, but I definitely say I'd favor Spain, and I hate that. I hate that for everybody because I know that our not predominantly English viewership, but there's a lot of English folks that do enjoy your show and this channel. And I don't mean to like poop on anybody's parade or anything like that, but I just think that Spain might carve England up. But I don't know. I mean, I can see a couple different outcomes, but is it coming home? Yeah, maybe after extra time and penalties. Uh, but I don't think England's going to win in 90
Okay, all right,
at all. Yeah.
fair enough. I mean, I said yesterday, it's only because you're 24 hours late to the show, and that this was all yesterday, so I've got to ask you the same questions basically. Um, my thoughts are, yeah, of course I'm on a winner. Either team wins, but I feel that England to get past what I said yesterday, and I'll repeat it again. Spain were not expected. Spain, as in the nation, did not expect Spain to go and win the Euros this time round. They expected Spain to put in a really good challenge, right? But they feel that Spain are building for the World Cup in 2 years' time
Which I would agree with completely. Yeah. I mean,
because
they're a young squad.
Fuente, the manager, has brought in players that he's relied on in both his under 21 successes and under 17 successes. and therefore it's the people that know his system and he knows the players, and they're the ones that he's brought in. Now, with that, there was a lot of people in Spain saying, how can you leave out X, Y, Z, B, A, C? And closer to home, Tottenham were, how could you leave Pedro Porro out? Well, he's now done that. He wasn't expected, as I said, he wasn't expected to go. They weren't expected to go and win the Euros. They were more expected to build a side for the future, right? And they've got to the final playing the best football in the whole competition.
I would agree. Yeah, it's been from what I've seen, beautiful football.
But you haven't seen
saying,
what game, though.
Yeah, and highlights
Yeah, okay,
for what it's worth. But attack is what I've been seeing. So which is fun to watch, of course. And I feel like they're getting it out of all their players. You know, I think they've got an entire team that is all on the same page. You know, offensively, defensively, it's all kind of. It doesn't really seem like offense and defense. It's just kind of a unit that works really well together. I don't know. I've been really happy with what I've seen from them. Really happy, and I would love it if we could implement a similar type of football at Spurs. I know it's asking a lot. Some of the players that are on that Spain team are absolutely phenomenal, but you're right. It's been good, fun football. But you were saying that so in Spain, they weren't expected to go in and at least not to sweep things the way they have, right? I mean,
that Spain was thought that they were gonna under De La Fuente. People weren't too sure about him under De La Fuente, getting De La Fuente in, but De La Fuente made it clear that he was gonna pick the majority of his team were going to be people that he can rely on, that know his system, know the way he plays, know his tactics, and that have played for him through the under-21s victories and the other 17s. And that's what he's done. So Spain, I believe, thought that Spain would do well. They put up a showing, but not to win the tournament.
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense.
Whereby the opposite, I think the fan base in England expected England before the start of this tournament, expected England with this squad to go and win it.
I think so too. I definitely think you're right. I can't argue with that. And looking at the squad on paper, if football was played on paper, I think that England would be a shoe-in. But it's not, as you always like to say. It's not played on paper. And
let's just say hello to a few people, because a few people popped in, and we'll say hello to them and continue. You got Peter, our resident paramedic in Melbourne. It's 1:10 a.m. in Melbourne. Peter, I hope you're well and that the people in Melbourne are well.
Yeah, thanks for the work you do.
And that your shift goes swimmingly and without any fuss, hopefully. And if you're meeting people, they're not too injured. We've got Jesse here saying, afternoon, Cole and Jose. I hope you're both well. Hi, Jesse. I hope you are. You have Daniel saying, it is. It's party time and it starts at 11 p.m. The Queen Ellie says, hello, Spanish eyes and my American boy. No pooping on our parade, Colin.
I'm trying not. I don't want to.
You have Shentam saying, good afternoon, boss man, Mr. Jose Mourinho, and junior assistant, Mr. Colin. Hope you're both doing great today. Destiny 5 is saying hi with a high five. And Ryan G saying, afternoon, Jose and Colin.
What up, Ryan?
And Peter says, this is exactly what Andy's trying to achieve. And just before we carry on discussing what the point that we were discussing, can I remind people that there are memberships available now on the channel, and it is pinned. The link is pinned to the chat. I get tongue-tied when I say that because it's just weird saying it.
And you're having to say new stuff. Yeah, exactly. You're changing your script.
Weird. It's just weird saying it. But the membership link is pinned to the chat. The other day I said the membership chat is linked to the pink.
People probably get it. I'm gonna start saying it like that now.
Yeah, it's just a bit mad. But so I had to think about this, right?
Yeah.
So my thoughts yesterday, and they remain today. I think England a lot. I said before the Holland game, it depended what happened in the midfield because I didn't rate Holland's midfield, right?
Right.
But with Spain's midfield, I do rate it. But I think a lot's going to depend on what you do with Rodri. Does Rice nullify Rodri? Because if Rice nullifies Rodri, then you've got the other two players, which are likely to be Foden and Bellingham, possibly, then up against Fabian Ruiz and or Pedri or Dani Olmo. Now, I think, and I said this yesterday, I think that my belief is you nullify Rodri, that's one thing, but where I think England can get success is on the wing. If you've got people to attack the wing, like Saka attacks the wing, but there's nobody that attacks on the left. But if you had people that could attack the wing, so Saka will be attacking Cucurella, all right? And it's about finding someone that will attack Dani Carvajal, because Dani Carvajal is going to come back into the side on Sunday. And
how old is he getting to be? Do you know?
Carvajal is 32.
Okay, not too old. Not too old.
But first major championship, first major international championships, but he's a 6-time European Champions League winner. It's absolute madness.
Not like he's inexperienced, that's for sure. That just shows how much talent Spain have to choose from, really.
But I'm not sure what England are going to do on the left. And if they played out an attacking left player to attack Carvajal, I think that England could get behind Spain with attacking the fullbacks. And that's what I said yesterday. And there's nothing that I think any differently to what I said yesterday.
So my quick question, and I don't know how much it's ever been done. I don't know how much he's ever played over there, but a lot of wingers can be effective on both sides of the pitch, left and right. Do you think that there's a universe where Southgate plays Saka on the left, and then another attacking player on the right in his stead to make sure that you've got a threat on both the right and the left?
To me, what I'm talking about, right, to nullify the two fullbacks, I'm talking about what Spain are going to throw at England. Spain are going to throw two wingers at England. So, Kyle Walker, and this all depends, because if England are playing a 3-5 or a 3-5 or a 3-4-3 or whatever it is they played, then people are saying that it could be that he uses Saka as a right wing back, and I don't know, he was using him as a wing back on the left, or if you play 4, then you're going to have, it'll be Nico Williams attacking Kyle Walker, and then it'll be Yamin Lamau up against either Trippier or Shaw, right? But there's a matchup there, right? The only matchup I can see is Saka and Cucurella. I don't know who the matchup is up against Carvajal, because he doesn't play with an out-and-out winger. Someone like Anthony Gordon playing out on the left could be a matchup. But everybody knows, and it doesn't matter. We'll talk about it until we're tired and we're blue. But Southgate doesn't change the team too much. He might make substitutions, but he doesn't change the team too much. It's a player here or a player there.
The system remains the same.
And that's if he's forced. I mean, every game he's changed one player on one player only. Starting 11, only one player he's changed. So that's the way that I can see England getting at Spain, is on the wings. But in order to get on the wings, you've got to nullify Rodri as well. And that's no mean feat, because every team's trying to do it. And Rodri looks like he's playing football on a pitch with 3 Havana cigars in his mouth and 4 on each hand as he's playing football as well, ready to to smoke some more. He's just and he looks like he's got his slippers on. He's just so easy.
Comfortable. Yeah. He looks really comfortable. I don't want to get stuck ahead in the comments, but Audio Artisan said that Rice will need to have the game of his life to nullify Rodri. And I agree. You asked if Rice could do it. He could, but I don't know how likely that is. We all know Rice is a quality player. He showed it at West Ham, but he hasn't really, reached those same heights for me. Do you think that Rice can nullify Rodri?
What, Arsenal? Are you talking about? Is he's not reached them heights at Arsenal? Mm-hmm. He's been an absolute monster for Arsenal, Rice. Oh, he's been one of their players of the season last year. He's been a monster for Arsenal. Arsenal are able to move on Thomas Partey and that now, because Rice has been so effective. Rice is so young. I mean, at
Is
the
it
end
is
of
it
the day,
right when he came in that he wasn't doing well? I had heard complaints about him and people saying that it was money wasted and how could they have spent so much money on the player. It must have been right when he first came in and might not have like immediately settled in and started contributing, and maybe that's when I heard all the hubbub. But I definitely knew that there were some people unhappy with that transfer as a whole. But maybe, like I said, it could have been the first couple weeks he was there and he just wasn't, immediately gelling. And then I quit paying attention. Um,
Rice has been a boss player for Arsenal, mate. God.
Shit.
Yeah,
Well,
he has been a boss player, but you might be right. It might have been just at the start.
yeah.
It may well have been just at the start. But he's he's a boss player for him. Bloody hell, shit. He's their engine, mate. He's their engine. Um, Daniel Coy's saying this game's going to penalties and will be a repeat of Euro '96.
Oh
If it's a
shit.
repeat of Euro '96, as I was there, Daniel, then it means that Spain will score a 3-yard onside goal, and for it to be disallowed, it can't happen again because they got semi-automated. So if they semi-automated back in the day, then Spain would have been 1-0 up against England. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Queen Ellie saying the Spanish women's team just as fabulous to watch as the men and are current World Cup holders. Viva España. Jose, you must be in football heaven and so proud of your native country.
Boom.
Really, my native country is England because I was born here. My parents are both Spanish, so I'm 100% Spanish in blood. But I was born in England. And as I've said to people before, in my family, my direct family, so my sisters have dual nationality.
Hmm.
One still lives in Spain and has been in Spain most of her life. And they will be supporting Spain, and so will my mother. But my wife and my children are going to be supporting England. However, if Spain win, my wife and my children will be magnanimous if Spain win. And the same will go for my sisters and my mother. They'll be magnanimous if England win. England gave a lot to my mum. My mum came from Spain to find a life in England, and we were born in England. And she met my father here as well, who's passed on now. So they have a lot to thank for England. I do as well. I was brought up here. I've lived here all my life. My children, my immediate children, and that they were all born here as well. So yeah, it's going to be one of those. When I say I've got a feet in both camp, I firmly have. And either way, I end up winning. Now, I can turn around and say that Spain have won the European Championship 3 times already, and they've also won a World Cup. England have only won a World Cup. So you'd like to, some part of me says it's about time England did something and pulled it out of the bag and did it.
Spread the love.
Because
Yeah.
because Spain have already got that. I mean, if Spain were to win, if Spain were to win on Sunday, I believe that makes them the holders or the record holders for the European Championships. A bit like certain countries hold the most World Cups, Spain would hold the most Euros if they won. But we'll wait and see what happens. Destiny says the game will be won in midfield. It's exactly what I said a minute ago. Peter says stuck in the emergency department at the moment. 10 on stretcher waiting for a bed.
Good
Wow,
Christ. Jesus, man.
that's a lot of people. That's a lot of people.
Hope everyone's
Audio.
okay.
Rice needs to have a game of his life to nullify Rodri. Destiny says bench Trippier for Saka and play Cole Palmer on the right. Queen Ellie says,
I've
Jose,
seen you say that. Yeah, Jose. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I've seen you say the same thing about playing Saka as a fullback.
yeah, Saka started off as a left fullback, right? And when he made his, so at Arsenal he was a left fullback, right? And for England he was a left fullback, left wing back for England because Southgate used to play 5 back then with the left and right wing backs and 3 centre backs. And Saka played right. So Saka's always started. Now, Saka for his club plays on the right wing and not left back or left wing back or whatever. But this is not about you and you personal. This is about the team. This is about the country. And therefore, me personally, if I was playing football, if they said to me, you got to go and do a stint in goal, but you're playing for your nation, I'm doing it. I'm going in goal. As long
Hell
as
yeah.
I've got my national jersey on, I get to sing the national anthem with pride. I get to represent my country. I play anywhere they want me to play. So,
I'm the same. Yeah.
because he's balanced, because he's left-footed, with Shaw being out injured, I was crying out for Saka to play at left back because he was naturally footed on there. But it remains Gareth Southgate has got decisions to make. Does he make the change? Is it going to be the one change that he normally makes? Is it going to be Shaw for Trippier? There's people that are saying that he might stick with Trippier again. and bring Shaw off the bench. So, we'll have to wait and see.
How did you think that went, by the way? Were you okay with that? I know we're trying to get through comments. I'm really sorry, but just wanted to say, whenever that you were saying that you either start Shaw, for 60 minutes, or you bring him on at the end, were you happy with the way that panned out? I mean, obviously I always say obviously England got the win, so clearly, I mean, it worked. But were you happy with the way that played out?
You haven't got a crystal ball. You don't know how long the game's going to go for. But with the way England have been playing, the odds were that the game would possibly go into 120 minutes.
Yeah.
Right before the start of the game. A lot of people were thinking that. No one thought it'd
Myself
be a straight
included.
win over 90. So at the end of the day, if you've got an hour in Luke Shaw, if you play him for the first hour, right, and it does go to 120 minutes, then you've got to bring someone on for the next 60 minutes. If it does go for 120 minutes and you take someone off in the 60th minute to replace him, then he's then got to play. So it's a difficult decision that he needed to make, but he made the decision that he did, and England actually won in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, you got Queen Ellie saying, Jose, you love Deportivo La Coruña too. Yeah, club sides. My teams are Tottenham Hotspur here in England and Deportivo in Spain. And Deportivo have been promoted to La Segunda, which is the second division, one below La Primera,
Nice.
which I'm really happy about. Ellie says, hello all in the chat. Pick yourselves up a membership. I did today. Woo! Quite lost how to say that. Worst Dutch side I've ever seen, not taking anything away from England, says Peter.
It's
Destiny
weird. The Dutch
says,
side have good players. But...
Sorry?
Oh, I was saying that Dutch side has some good players. Not everywhere.
Like who?
I mean, their entire defense, I feel like, is pretty good. At least, their center back pairing is nice. You can't have a back line with Virgil van Dijk in it and think that your back line's bad, especially when they've got Mickey van de Ven, who can't even get on the pitch. I think he's better than Nathan Ake, but there must be a reason, maybe inexperience, why they're not, why they weren't starting him. I think players like Memphis Depay are okay. I just think that they are not as trash as they played. Some teams can play better than the sum of their parts, due to good coaching, a tight bond within the team, and then some teams play worse than the sum of their parts, and that's what seemed to be happening to me when I watched this Dutch side. They just weren't clicking together as a team, and the good players that they did have, or at least I'm not saying great, but the good players they did have, I don't think carried the team as much as they needed to. But defensively, I mean, their defense is one of the best. Destiny 5. You missed me, but I was basically just saying that their defense is good. They've got a good defensive unit. I still think Virgil van Dijk's got a lot left in him. I think he's a great defender. I think it's weird that Van de Ven couldn't really get a start. I think he's a better defender than Ake, but I'm sure it's all experience and tournament experience and stuff like that. And then they've got some good players peppered throughout their team. Not great, but good. And I think they played. Some teams play better than the sum of their parts due to coaching and the team bond and fighting for each other. I think they were the opposite. I think they played worse than the sum of their parts. Not sure really why. I think the good players they have, didn't perform well enough, didn't step up, didn't kind of help carry the team.
Scott M says, hi Scott, good morning to you, mate. I hope you're well. Says Roddy looks like a dad playing against his son's under 10 side.
Love it.
Scott says Destiny Navas won't play. That Carvajal is back, and Carvajal is a much better option. Win-win for Jose, says Destiny. He says I read a stat that the Spanish team has not lost a final in 22 attempts, club and country. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. I'm not sure about that. Mate, what? Spain's last final, the last three finals they were in, they won. They won the 2008, 2010, 2012. And they're the last three cup finals they've been to on the international stage. As for club sides, I wouldn't know. I think France, I don't know, 22 attempts. It must have been a lot of club football there, Destiny, because I remember Spain being beaten in 84 in the Euros in 1984 when France beat us 2-0 and Platini scored. So, yeah, but interesting if that's a stat. Right, people think speaking to each other. Scott says, I think you need to start Shaw and hope he can go the full 90.
That's what I would do too, Scott. I agree.
Destiny says it's basically Spanish team don't lose finals. Daniel Sandoval, buenos dias, one love, la familia Coys. Hi, Daniel. I hope you're well, sir. Good afternoon to you. So yeah, the one that I wanted to talk about to you, because these are questions that I posed yesterday. Think about it. Sevilla have won about 1,000 Europa League finals. The one that I talked about yesterday, right, which I think needs to be discussed a bit further today, because 24 hours have moved on since I had the show yesterday, and it's what has occurred in the Copa America. Are you up to date with everything that's been going on?
Not even close. I know what happened, and to a degree. I mean, I've read headlines and things like that, but no, I was absolutely shocked to have seen it.
What have you seen?
So basically, the first thing I saw was that there were a list of names. First, I just saw the list of names that came out, and I actually have it right here, and I know that everybody already knows, but
What
it looks
list of
like
names? Tell me what list of names.
Darwin Nunez,
Yeah.
Matias Vina, Mele, Jose Maria Jimenez, Matthias Oliveira, Pelestri, Ronald Arroyo,
Arujo, yeah,
Arujo,
from Barca.
Brian Rodriguez, Emiliano Martinez, Bentancur, and Sebastian Cáceres
Yeah.
are named in the report, and the deadline to contest the charges is next week.
Okay, so I'm going to come to that now in a second, right? So what happened was, supposedly, from the Uruguayan point of view, and the Colombians haven't come out and said nothing yet. They played at the Bank of America Stadium, which is in Charlotte, I
That is
believe.
correct. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Right. It's an American football ground. Scott M was telling us all this yesterday. It's an American football ground, and it's not one of the stadiums that's being used in the World Cup, which is kind of surprising because normally when you have an event prior to a World Cup, you normally tend to pick venues as testers and they're going to be used in your World Cup. Well, this is not one of the venues that's going to be used. However, what they're saying is that the police presence was lackadaisical, to say the least, and there was no segregation. Now, you probably don't get problems in sport in America
Yeah,
like
not a
you
ton.
like you get probably in other parts of the world. But if you're staging a tournament, right, you would do your due diligence because previous tournaments have occurred, right? So the Copa America won't be the first Copa America that's happened, maybe on your shores, but the Copas Americas have taken place before. So you will know about the rivalries, you will know about the bloodshed, the hatred, know about all this. Yet they put Colombia and Uruguay without any police at all. And according to the Uruguayan footballers, their families were attacked by Colombian hooligans. They're calling them hooligans. I'm going to say fans, right? So they were attacked by them. And then once the players saw this, they then rushed over. Now,
Eric Dyer syndrome.
but have you not seen them rush over yet? No. Right.
No, I haven't seen the
Darwin
video.
Nunez is in there throwing punches. Right. He's got his top off. And he's just got the monitor that they got on your back, so you got that black thing that you wear. He
Looks
had
like
that
a
on.
brazier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had that on, but he didn't have no football kit on. No top on. Just had that. He's got into the crowd and he started throwing punches. Now, I'm glad you named other players because I could see there were other players. You know when you got substitutes and they wear the bibs. I could see players in the crowd that were wearing bibs, and I thought to myself, by one angle, I thought to myself, they're Uruguayan players that are in the crowd as well. So I knew it wasn't only the two that I singled out yesterday. I knew there were more involved, right? Now, so it's all over on X. You can see all this, but because there's videos about it everywhere, you can see Darwin Núñez going, and then he wades in and starts throwing punches, right?
Yeah.
Now, when he's gone in, it depends. If you see the camera angle from the pitch side of when he goes in, his family or the Uruguayans and their families are on the right hand side of where he wades in, right? And on the left hand side, obviously wearing yellow, you can see it's the Colombians, right? So what must have happened, because the video footage only shows when the footballers have gone in. It doesn't show what happened pre that. Not that I've seen yet anyway. So what must have happened, if this is the Uruguayan belief, is that the families were attacked by the Colombians, right?
Yeah.
So it already happened by the time the footballers have gone in, right? Now, not only did Nunez go into the crowd and start throwing punches,
He got punched in the face really hard. I'm watching it right now too. Nunez got rocked in the chin. Oh my God, somebody punched him really good. But anyway, sorry, I did not mean to interrupt.
so also as well, what Nunez did, because it's like an American football stadium, right? Unlike here where you got pitch side, so everybody is on pitch side level. In American football stadiums, you've got a stanchion, and then it's above. The crowds are above it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Darwin Nunez, in another clip, has gone running with a chair and gone running to throw it into the crowd, and he's thrown the chair, and the chair's hit the stanchions and not actually reached the crowd,
Jesus, man.
right? And then you've got, I think, and I'm not sure, but I think it's whilst he's in fight, he's up there fighting. Lolo goes running in, right, and starts hurled a couple
A
of bottles,
glass
I reckon.
bottle.
But one was a glass bottle that hit a fan or hit somebody, and he also supposedly threw a water bottle as well. So I'm glad you said there's more than one, because I actually thought when I saw the videos yesterday, I thought to myself, these look like other players because they're wearing bibs. So they must have come off. They're wearing bibs. Now, there was an interview with Jimenez, and Jimenez is the centre half from Atletico Madrid. Uh, and Jimenez said it's out of order what happened in his interview. He said there was no police presence there and that the families were attacked. He says that in an interview, right? But today, it's now come apparent that people have been charged or people have been cited. I don't know, because American law is weird for me, and that's why well, it's good that you know, because it was either you or Alan I was going to ask today. Was
Mm-hmm.
what does it mean? What's actually happened to these people that have been named? They haven't been charged. Have they been cited or whatever you call it? What is it in America that they do?
So first you're charged with a crime, and then after that, depending on who you are and how much money you have, basically, you'll either go to jail to await them to take you to trial to figure out if you're guilty or not, or you'll be issued, you're charged and then you're issued like a summons to like arrive in court,
Yeah.
and then but usually, unless it's some kind of like heinous crime, they don't keep you in jail, or unless you're poor, they keep the poor people in jail, it seems like. But yeah, so they'll have been charged with a crime, and then they will be like awaiting trial to find out if they're guilty or not. But usually in the interim, like in the time between being charged and trial, you can kind of go about your life as if nothing's happened. uh,
So with regards that, do you know? I mean, I don't know whether you do or not. Do you know what these guys have been charged with? Because
so
here in England, right? Um, Here in England, some of them may be charged. You could get charges ranging from actual bodily harm, if you actually hurt someone, grievous bodily harm, uh, affray, um, endangering. I think there's one that's endangered life by someone throwing a bottle and stuff like that. There are different charges here that can be levelled at someone, but you could be charged with a public order offence as well, inciting riots or starting a riot or whatever. There's public order offences you could be charged with as well. But
sorry.
with what's his name? With the forward with Nunes, what can Nunes be charged with criminally?
Well, I mean, it's a great question, but some type
Did,
of
it, did he land punches on someone? He did,
yeah, he
right?
did. He absolutely
But
did.
people landed punches on him as well.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't know the charges in America, but so that could be a fray. It could be a fray over it. Could be a public order offence.
So
But
so it would probably be an assault, just a regular old assault or battery charge. We call it assault and battery, or you can just use assault or battery. But yeah, generally getting in a fist fight would be considered assault. Even if two people were like, "Hey, let's go outside and fight each other," okay, and then they did. If the police would happen to see, that they would both be charged with assault, and then depending on, I guess, how badly he's hurt people. If it was premeditated, it would be like a worse thing. But since he just kind of, since it was all like in the heat of the moment, it's probably, I mean, it's an assault can be a felony charge. So we've got misdemeanors and felonies over here. And depending on things, and it's different in every state, so it's sort of hard to be sure. But yeah, they could easily be charged. The guys that are caught actually harming people could be charged with felonies, even if they were punched. Also, that doesn't really mean a whole lot.
So, right. So the other thing then is Bentancur. What would he be charged with? Because he was seen running and hurling the bottle. Now, in here in England, if I went and hurled a bottle, right, at someone, I'd get arrested. But what the police would want, or the public prosecution service would want, is they would want the person that got hit to then either make a statement or make a complaint, because then it stacks. Is that the same in America?
So, no, not exactly. You could have different. I mean, there's different charges that you could face for throwing the bottle. I mean, there's regular assault. Yeah. So you're saying though that what?
Does
Sorry.
there have to be a victim? So here in England, the public prosecution service, to make something stick, if you're observed throwing a bottle, that's fine. You're observed throwing a bottle. But if the person it hits then makes a complaint or writes in a statement, then you've got a victim impact assessment. So you've got a victim to the crime. The crime was throwing the bottle. The victim is the person the bottle hit. So that's how it stacks up in a court here in England. But in America, can you do it without having a victim?
Yeah, be some kind of reckless endangerment more than likely.
Right. Okay.
Just the fact that so even without a victim, just the fact that he did it, it's a crime to knowingly put people in harm's way like that. Scott though brings out a good point. That there was something that happened during probations and a fine were all they got for this happened during a basketball game. But yeah,
Do you know? Sorry, Colin, I'm putting you on the spot because obviously I
I'm
knew you was
frozen. Hope it's not me. See if this fixes it.
still there.
Can you hear me, buddy?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
I
clearly.
lost you for just 1 second. What can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so sorry. What I was going to say is that when coming onto the show, obviously I've just finished work. I haven't had a chance to speak to you. I was just happy that you'd messaged me saying that you were coming on. So I haven't told you what I was going to talk about or anything. So I've really got you on the hop here at the moment. But because you're out in America, right? Are you able to see what these people have been charged? Because we know that they've been named. Do we know what they've been charged with, any of them yet?
We don't yet. I actually just looked that up. I found a news article from yesterday evening.
But there was no charges. If there was any charges, they would have come today. They wouldn't have been yesterday.
Right. And so what I guess I'm saying is I haven't been able to find anything more recent in the news than yesterday. So I think that if anything is to come out today, it has not yet. And since it's still only 11 a.m. Here in the U.S., it could still, come later today. And I kind of think that that's a pretty highly likely. And as soon as I know, I'll let you know, and we can throw something up maybe. But yeah, as for now, it does not look like any formal charges have been made. I do see though that the footballing bodies are trying to issue some punishments as well. I know that's secondary, and of course they would, but the association for I don't even know how you say it, CONMEBOL.
CONMEBOL, yeah.
Yep. So they're the ones that
are the South American Federation.
Gotcha. And they're pretty pissed, and they're trying to, that list of players I gave you. It says each of those names is accompanied by video evidence and details of the disciplinary charges against them. But I don't have those here. But yeah, so everybody
that's
in that report.
Yep.
And everyone in that report that I gave you has video evidence of them breaching, you know what I mean, committing some kind of a breach.
How do you spell CONMEBOL?
CONMEBOL.
See if there's anything under common bowl charges. Okay, so Uruguay receives formal documentation from common bowl. Yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. Reuters have said exactly the same thing that you're saying.
That's a nice source. So yeah.
Yeah, so they're saying the aftermath of the post-game brawl between Uruguay national team players and Colombian fans has prompted a formal inquiry by CONMEBOL, potentially resulting in sanctions for up to 11 players. Liverpool is set to talk with Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez and Jimenez could get harsh sanctions after brawl, but it doesn't say the sanctions for Lolo. But yeah, you're right. The players identified are Jose Maria Jimenez, Sebastian Cáceres, Ronald Araujo, Rodrigo Bentancur, Facundo Pelestri, Matías Oliveira, Matías Viña, Brian Rodriguez, Darwin Núñez, Emiliano Martinez, and Santiago Mele. Emiliano Martinez, ain't he the goalkeeper for
There's
for
two of them.
Argentina?
There's two of them, I guess. Yeah.
I know.
Right. So hey, real quick, I just wanted to ask you this: Do you think there's any ties that any chances that we cut Lolo's contract up because of all
Right,
this wild stuff?
so what I said yesterday, right? What I said yesterday, and this is a comment that we said yesterday. You got Scott saying CONMEBOL is the equivalent of UEFA and the CONCACAF. Ed M has made a comment here. We discussed this yesterday, right? You weren't here, but we discussed this yesterday. Uruguay players and families should be suing the tournament organisers and the stadium operators.
I doubt they would run in. You're right. Something had to happen because why would these people that have so much public scrutiny and are in the public eye, why would they go and commit crimes for no reason? I mean, still even for how they did it, I still, you know what I mean? Like you could still argue that it was dumb. They shouldn't have done it, but I think there had to have been something happening because players.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say though, Cole, is what we were saying yesterday is if you're the organizer, right? Mm-hmm. And like I said, if you've done your due diligence, and this is not the first Copa Americas, it ain't the first rodeo. There's been a fair few Copa Americas over the years, played in different countries, but the animosity between fans has always been there. So when you're hosting in America, let's say, or anywhere else for that matter, you would segregate fans. You would
you have a responsibility to.
Right, and that's what Ed M is saying in his comment, and that's what we discussed yesterday. And a lot of people were saying yesterday in the chat that maybe the stadium and the organisers need to take a look at themselves. Why would they have allowed this to happen? Because before the players got there, something had happened.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, something that the players don't react and say their families have been attacked by hooligans for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is if you segregated them, that the possibility is you lower the risk of that happening. If you had police presence there or you segregate the fans. The fact that there was no segregation and there wasn't any police there, it appears, then somehow the tournament organisers and the stadium operators need to have or be looked at, and that's what was being commented yesterday, and Ed M saying that today. Because you're quite rightly in American football, right, or even in soccer out there, if fucking Portland go and play against Nashville, you're not going to have a mad police present, are you?
No.
Right. And if you've got let's say the Chicago is it Chicago Bull? No, ain't Chicago Bulls.
Chicago Fire?
No, who's the American football team?
Oh, Bears. Sorry.
Okay, so the Chicago Bears are playing against New Orleans Saints, right? Just plucking out teams. Do you have football? Do you have segregation because the fans hate each other? They're going to fight. Do you have segregation? Do you have all that?
Not really. No. So certain games would though. I mean, like if it's Packers Bears game, if there was like a Green Bay Wisconsin Packers playing against the Bears, they might have higher security there. That's a big rivalry. Those are teams that have that fans have historically kind of like had problems with each other. So in certain instances, yeah, we would do that here, but not always, not for every occasion. So
sorry, can I just say just before we carry on? Right, look who's in.
Who do we got?
Jamie Wooten. Eye up, lads. Sun's out. Beautiful beach. Beers going down. Lovely. For people that don't know, Jamie has been out. Jamie's a Sheffield United fan and a great chatter in the chat here on this show. And he's out watching England and he's been out in Germany since the first game. And I asked Jamie on a previous show, how long are you out there for? And he said, well, we're out here as long as England are here for. So Jamie has now got to the final with England, which means he's out there till at least Sunday, possibly Monday now,
I hope your
in
wallet's
order to
okay,
come
mate.
back.
That's a
So,
long vacation.
so Jamie, how's it all going, mate? How the fans feeling? What's the consensus about the Holland game, and what's the feelings around the fans out there for the final? Let us know, mate. Just a harmless potato says, Jose, there was police. Nunes pushed them aside. They tried to hold him back, multiple officers. Right. So what I'm going to say to that, just a harmless potato, is if you look at the video footage, right, you can see all the seats going up because the Colombian fans are on this side and the Uruguayans are on this side. So when they went to fight each other, where the seats were empty, right, where people had parted, right, you'd expect the ring of police cordon to be up there, so then they can't come back at each other. There were no cordons at all. There was no police there at all. When we're talking about police, we're not talking about having two or three at the bottom of the stanchion. Police generally, when you cordon off, police generally go up the stand, and there was no cordoning off. And Angeball says, big up lads. Apparently, Bentacle threw a bottle and it hit a Uruguayan person and split their head open. What an absolute fool. I'm so pissed at him. Jamie's saying that he will be back home on Tuesday night. Yeah, I don't know whether you've got time because you're enjoying yourself, Jamie, to answer the questions I just asked you. But listen, mate, stay safe out there. And, mate, I hope you've enjoyed the tournament so far. And I wish you well on your return, mate. No separation of fans in any North American sports is what Scott
That's
M's saying.
yeah. That I commented. I swore that it happened in some like high rivalry games, but who knows? Maybe I am mistaken.
Jamie's saying, mate, it's just a big party with England fans. Yes, Cop's been a CUNT sometimes. We use Bud, but we're still out here with England fans. And Daniel's saying, American organisers being oblivious to football and violence is just pure stupidity. Sorry, but it is.
Fair.
Um,
Yeah.
So what I was saying yesterday, Colin, is that it's not been a good 6 weeks for Bentancur.
Not at all.
4 to 6 weeks.
The thing with Sonny.
Yeah. And now
And
this.
and that's putting aside the fact that he is. I know the second injury wasn't his fault, but that he had two major injuries this past season as well. So he, you know what I mean. I think his stock has maybe fallen a bit because of that as well. We haven't seen him play. He hasn't been, been able to contribute to the team. So that has me worried that, Ange is a pretty no nonsense guy. I worried that Bentancur was a pretty cheap acquisition. I don't know. I mean, do you think there's any chance that they just go, we don't want to even mess with this anymore. Get out of here. You're disrupting things.
Well, I don't know. Today we haven't got the vociferous people we had yesterday in the chat, but yesterday Daniel Coyes is still here, and if I said to you, ask Daniel what he thinks, right?
Daniel, what do you think?
Yeah, Daniel will tell you what he thinks because he was telling us yesterday what he thought. But Daniel wasn't the only one. There was a fair few people in the chat yesterday that were saying similar things. So, at the end of the day, what I said, right, is if the ban comes in through FIFA, whatever ban comes in, it will be adhered to not only internationally but at club level as well. Yeah, because FIFA will say it or Common Ball will say it. All they need is backing from FIFA or UEFA, and that becomes, and then it'll be the Premiership as well. Because whatever UEFA say, the Premiership got adhere to. So if they decided, I mean, there were some people that were saying yesterday that they think that these players are looking at 6 months.
Whew. Okay.
But there were some people that were saying they're looking at a year.
Jesus, man. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. At least Nunez. I know that Bentancur isn't innocent in all of it, but some of those punches that Nunez was throwing were he missed a lot of them, which is pretty funny. I think there's like a joke to be made there. Threw a lot of punches and missed a lot of them. But he did connect a couple times, and like I was saying, he himself got absolutely rocked in the face once too. Just in the short video I saw. But yeah, that he was proper like street brawling. Like that was yeah. There needs to be some kind of a suspension. You
So
know,
there's Daniel, but Daniel's been a lot calmer today than what he was yesterday. But there
they
was a
got
few
paid.
of them. There was a few of them that were saying the same thing.
Get him out of here. Don't want him. Don't want him
Yeah,
anymore.
there's a lot of people that were saying they're embarrassed by him.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed with the whole Sonny thing, kind of, to be honest. But anyway, I know that, anyway,
I
there was
mean,
a point.
I do get the angle, and don't get me wrong, mate. I do get the angle that if it's my family are being attacked, then I'm in there, right? And I get the angle. But what's throwing a bottle from? What's throwing a bottle going to do? You've got like hundreds of people there. Who, what are you achieving by throwing a bottle?
Yeah, you can't really say you're trying to protect your family at that point because it's not like you're Hawkeye and can, hit the perpetrator with a bottle. That he was just chucking it to. Yeah,
I've got a feeling it was when see because he got different cameras showing you different things. But I have a feeling from the camera angle that's been shown, right, and they just show you Bentancur and you can see him throwing it. I think he's doing it when the footballers were in the crowd, racking in the crowd. But it is what it is. I'm sure over the next few days we'll probably get to hear more about it. I don't know when they're going to look at if they're going to announce any bans or anything football what related, but there obviously will be a football investigation which will sit alongside a criminal investigation.
right.
Um, and I'm sure in due course, I don't know how quickly things happen in America because you got bail bonds and all sorts out there. You got you got different rules out in America than what we have over here. I mean, yeah, you just have. It's just mad. That's why I'm glad that I'm speaking to someone, a Yankee Doodle dandy that will understand all the rules. Because this old English Spanish boy, he don't understand the rules out in the states.
They're hard to understand, and it doesn't help that there's 50 different sets of rules depending on what state you're in. Um, so yeah, that complicates things as well.
Yeah,
Good old USA.
but we will find out. Like I said, we'll find out what's happening both criminally and what happens both civil with regards what the associations end up doing with their players. Um, you've got Angeball says, I think it's all built up aggravation after being out with injury for so long, and now the fact that he's struggling to get back to his previous best.
You can't go hurt people. I get the aggravation too, but you know,
Destiny says, we all do crazy things in the heat of the moment. Daniel Coy says, three incidents smacking the chair when he got subbed off. The awful Sonny incident, and then this one. I'm done with what he's done. It's awful PR for this football club, and they should cut their losses. And Joris is here. Says, big up, lads. Finally caught you live. Nice one, Jose and Cole. Well,
big
nice to
up,
see you,
Mr.
Joris.
Joris.
And
Yes,
can I say, Joris, keep commenting, mate. Love your comments, and they're all valid and they're all superb comments. Joris, because he can't make the shows usually, he leaves a whole load of comments to the streams, which is good because it helps the algorithms as well, as he told me.
that's true.
But
Yeah,
he's got some really good points, Joris, and yeah, I'm happy to read every comment that Joris leaves for me. Destiny 5 says the justice system is corrupt in America.
very true. Very true. And they don't even try to hide it. Some places it's like kind of a well-known secret, but here it's not a secret at all. It's just
You
well
mean
known.
it's just done in plain sight? You mean?
So sort of like those the transfers that between Everton and Chelsea and whoever else,
So
all in plain sight.
plain sight into trading. Yeah. Um. So what I was going to say, I'm going to nip back to England again, right?
Yeah,
And I'm going to ask this question of everyone: should Southgate be rated? I had to think about this, right? And I've got I've got a real different take on everything. So I'm just interested. Should Southgate be rated? What do you think, Colin? And people in the chat.
you can't deny that he has gotten some results. Obviously, England have fallen short a lot of times, like at the final hurdle. but he's put them in, positions to be successful. He has had success. Should he be rated? Yeah, I mean, I think so. I do understand like the frustrations with him, and I do understand that he's sort of it's like the same argument that people give to like Pep Guardiola. They're like, "Oh, well, you've got the best players. Of course, of course you're going to win, and you should accomplish things." And so I can see a bit of that with this as well. The England, there are so many quality players, to choose from, that winning is kind of expected, and getting into these, finals and things like that. But he's done it pretty consistently. I think that there was a while where England were the butt of some jokes that internationally they had kind of fallen off for a bit, and since he's taken over, things have at least been more steady. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's things I rate him for, and then there's things that I slate him for. It's a bit of both, but should he be rated? As much as it pains me to say, I think so. I think so.
Why does it pain you to say it?
Because the football's boring.
Really?
But yeah, I mean, it's just I'd rather there be more. I mean, I get it. I get what he's doing, and what he's doing is successful. Getting the goal, kind of shutting down shop. You know, but I prefer my teams to like keep going for the throat and go for the second goal, the third goal. But yeah, I mean, he should definitely be rated. There's no way around. You can't argue with the results that he's achieved, and the positions that he's gotten this England team into. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say. But yeah, I think that he has to be rated.
Right, so you've got Ange Ball was just saying, do you think Bentancur might be trying to engineer a move from Spurs? Well,
I don't think so.
if he is, he's going the wrong way about it, because he looks like I mean, whatever happens criminally, but in football terms, and this is what I was saying yesterday, in football terms, the mitigation for the players was they're going to say their families were attacked. But is that enough mitigation for the actions that they then took? And I think that the footballing authorities will probably I don't know. I ain't got no insider information, but we'll probably throw the book at these people. And if it means a ban, then it's not the right way to engineer a move away, because whilst you're on a ban, you can't move away. You can't, because your ban goes with you wherever you go. So it's a difficult one to answer. Daniel Coy's on, do we rate Southgate, or does Southgate rate says, I'll decide after Sunday. Mark Cousins, the sheriff.
Hey, Mark.
Says, big up Jose and Cole. You don't spell put in the Tower of London like that. Ed M says, no, with a team he has, England should be wiping the floor with teams.
I get that.
Destiny says, Southgate suits tournament football, but it's time to go, win or lose. Audio says, I think better coaches would have got more out of this generation of talent, performance-wise and trophy-wise. Just the Harmless says, I don't think much of Southgate. If England become European champions, it won't be because of Gareth, but in spite of him. And Ed M is saying, standard of international football is not great at the moment. Now, the thoughts that I had, people, right? I'm going to ask, is Arteta a good manager?
Yes.
Built a team that's challenged for the last 2 years, yeah?
Yeah.
How long's Arteta been there? 5 years?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he's a good manager. Right. So what has Arteta done in club football? He's come in, he's inherited a system, he's inherited a culture, he's inherited the players that they had at the time, and he's gone about changing it. And it took him 3 years to change all that, getting rid of players, changing culture, getting his own players in, and putting down how he wants football to be played and stuff like that, right?
Put his stamp on things. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So he's put his stamp on things, right? And for the last 2 years, they've challenged. They haven't won anything, but they've challenged. And people say he's a good manager, right? And I was thinking about this, right? And I don't know how people see it, but you you have, I know it's football, not international, and it's league, it's club football, and not international. But in club football, you get your players for 10 months a year. And it doesn't have to be just Arteta, it can be anyone, right? You get your players for 10 months of the year. How often do you have your players together in club football? You have them every day of the week.
Exactly.
Okay? So,
Yeah.
in 5 years, Arteta has built his teams, has done everything I've said, and he's had his players for 10 months of the year, pretty much all together. 9 months, 10 months of the year, pretty much together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I look at Gareth Southgate and I think to myself, Southgate came in, right? And be careful the devil you don't know. If Southgate hadn't stumbled across the job, Sam Allardyce would have been the manager. Do you think England would be where they are now with Sam Allardyce? I know it's hindsight, but I don't think so. Because Sam Allardyce has got a different way of playing football together. So, Southgate's been around since 2000 and whatever it is, 17 or whatever it was, right? Until now. In that time, let's just to roll it off. In that time, 18 World Cup semi-final or fourth place, however you want to look at it. 2020 Nations League semi-final. Yeah. So they got to the last 4 teams in the Nations League and they went out. So semi-final and that's 2020. 2021, which was the Euros, which should have been the cancelled Euros that they had in 21. England reached the final and lost. So you got semi-final, semi-final, final. 22 World Cup quarter-final loss to France. So that's a quarter-final. And now in 2024, it's a final, right? So how often? So when Southgate came to England to manage England, he had the same issues that you get at club football. He came into whatever the culture was then. He came into players that he didn't want anymore, and he wanted to bring his own players in. And he had to change the culture and the way that England or the way that the players and England went about things. So I thought about this and I thought, how much time has Southgate had on the grass with his team together, right, in them last 7 years?
Minimal. When you compare it to, like you were saying, club football, yeah,
If you
not much.
if you compared it to club football, I'm gonna say it works out to 1 season.
Fair, yeah, I can see that.
If you did the whole lot, right, and you molded it all into one, I think it works out to 1 season. So in 1 season, 1 season of international football, because it becomes 1 season if you amalgamate the times that the players are together. He's come in, he's changed the culture of English football, right? He got rid of players. So players like Rooney. I don't know. I don't know. Was Gerard? Did Gerard stop playing under his stewardship? So there would have been a lot of players that stopped playing for England because Southgate went in a different direction. Southgate has brought togetherness where people want to turn up and play for England and they're not sitting in cliques. Yeah. And Man United are not all sitting together. Liverpool sitting together. Arsenal, Tottenham. They're all sitting together and they're all like anti each other because they play for their club football. He's brought the players together. And Southgate has done all this in 7 years, right? And in them 7 years, if you total the amount of time that he's got the players together, so tournament football, you normally have the players for in tournament football and the days that you have in games, because it's only days you get the squad together.
Right.
I'd say you call it, let's say a month for each tournament football, there or thereabouts. So that's what? 18,
7.
20, 21, 22, 24. That's 5 months, right? And then for every time that they all meet up, like for the matches, for the qualifiers and that, he only gets them for a couple of days at a time or whatever. It works out to be about 9 months, right? So in that time, the 9 months that he gets them equates to 1 season. So he's done everything for England over 7 years, but if you squash it in, it's actually a 9-10 month period where he's got the players with it at his disposal all the time, and he's managed to do all that. I think he should be rated. My personal belief is he should be rated.
I get it. You can't deny, what he's done. I also, though, can't deny what some in the chat are saying, that, maybe, the manager could do better.
Ange says, I think if you're very lucky up until this point, I just pray it continues on Sunday. And Angeball says, yes to your question, it should be rated. Joris has said, international football is a results business and the teams don't get much time to train together. That's why I don't enjoy international games so much. Look at France squad and how they play.
Big up. Yeah.
Daniel Coy says, Arteta bottles the final hurdle. Now Southgate has a chance to finally end the same tag about him, and then I will rate him. The Belgian Monster says, see, genius minds think alike, Jose. Inner Hype says, the subs Southgate made affected subs made by Netherlands coach. I thought it was a masterstroke to put on attacking players as subs and force Netherlands to worry about the defence. Belgian, Joris reckons it's less than a season when you add all the time together. Just a Harmless Potato says, I'm waffling. Thank you, Just a Harmless Potato. I hope I'm not morphing into someone. The Mile High Hotspur says, big up homies, nothing but love for you. Leo, boop. Big up to you, Leo. Where's my fist gone? That way? There we go. It's that way.
Yeah.
And then you've got people saying hello to Leo, which is nice, spreading the love, people. Agree with you, Southgate is doing well in an impossible job. Ed M says, the spin that Southgate broke up clicks is just media spin that was gone before he took over. Wayne Rooney as captain broke it up. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then people are saying like each other, and then Belgian Joris says, oi, potato head, be nicer to Senor Jose. No, it's all good. It's all good. So, yeah, that was just my thoughts on it, Colin. Do you know what I mean? I just thought about it a bit differently. That's all.
Yeah, I like seeing things from a different perspective. And it's easy to jump on the Southgate is shit. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a dinosaur. It's easy to jump on that train without really seeing the whole picture. So I do like that you have highlighted the good that he's done as well.
Right. So the next thing I was going to talk about, my next banner was, oh no, it's not here. Right. My next banner was going to be, I'm going to write it down now.
I'm excited to see this banner.
It's not exciting. It's not exciting. Right. It is transfers. Right. So I'm just going to let get people accustomed to some of the stuff that's gone on today. So we know that. Well, I haven't got it on at the moment. I'm actually reading some other stuff, but let me see what I can say. See if I can find it. It's all about today. Is about an outgoing, and we've Troy Parrott has gone to have his medical with AZ Alkmaar, and he's signing for Alkmaar for a fee of €8 million, which I think worked out to, is it £6.7 million? The details of the deal have not been announced yet, so I'm not sure whether Tottenham have let him go for that as a full price, or whether there's any clauses, sell-on clauses, or anything else added to it. So I'm not sure, but that's another player that's leaving the club. Now, I'm going to ask the chat, and I'll ask you, Colin. Last night, and it's on YouTube, I got to watch the highlights of France under 23s versus the Dominican Republic under 23s. And for those that are not aware, the under 23s are the teams that will be taking part or doing their preparation games for the Olympics, which France are in the Olympics. I watched a young boy play football yesterday. He came on a sub. I watched two young lads that came on a sub yesterday. So, for people that don't know, you're allowed to have 3 players that are older than 23 in your Olympic squad, right? So the captain for France is Alexander Lacazette, who currently plays for Lyon, right? And he is the captain, wore the number 10. And they've got a couple of other players that are playing in there. Now, in the starting lineup, what was interesting is Carlos Lucaba was centre back. He's a much sought after centre back youngster that plays out in Germany, I think. and was much sought after. And they also had a Michael Elise. And Michael Elise played behind the front two. So he didn't play out on the wing. France's manager is Thierry Henry, and Gal Clichy is part of the coaching staff and that. And France played with a 4-2. Doesn't sound right. 4-2. It doesn't sound right at all, because they played with Lacazette and another player up front, and they played Elise in the hole behind them.
Mm-hmm.
So they must have
two more midfield.
Then they must have three. It must have been three. So they must have played a 4-3-1-2, right? But in the set, and they won 7-0, by the way, people. But you can watch the highlights of this game on YouTube. But in the second half, a youngster called Desiree Doué came on wearing the number 6. And I think he was wearing the 19, Ryan Cherky from Lyon, who Tottenham have been looking at, right? And they both came on yesterday. And I'm telling you now, right now, I've seen Doué play before. I haven't seen Cherky play. I've seen him play, but not as much. But from what I saw yesterday, Tottenham would do absolutely brilliantly by signing both Cherky and Doué. Doué's a unit. I thought Doué was a little flying wing. Doué's a unit.
I've never seen the man. Yeah,
he's a unit. He looked massive yesterday watching him, right?
Sweet, yeah.
And he looks an absolute baller. But so does Ryan Cherky. Ryan Cherky, who could come in, a lot younger, but could come in and give Maddison competition.
Damn, he needs it. Maddison needs it. I think we don't agree on that.
Cherky could give Maddison competition, right? These two players, I watched them play yesterday, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, what players that they are. And like I said, they went out and won 7-0. But, yeah, it's saying, right, so to bring us up to date, so we know that Troy Parrott's gone. Yeah, he's gone. Now, I said at the start of the week that I was hoping that Tottenham could make 2 signings and 2 outgoings by the weekend. It don't look like it's going to happen at all. No. If anything, the only outgoing is going to be one that I never thought of. My 2 outgoings I thought might have been the 2 defenders going out, 2 right backs going out to Italian clubs, because I thought another week's worth of conversations would have got the deals over the line.
You'd think, yeah.
But clearly it hasn't. So instead of the 2 defenders going, it's Troy Parrott that's going. So Troy Parrott's the one that's gone, and we haven't brought anyone in. Now, I'm looking on Twitter, right, and there's conflicting, right, information. But it says, this has come from Fabrice Hawkins. It says, PSG will soon make an offer for Tottenham Hotspur transfer target Desiree Doué. The club will make moves for him. Doué is highly appreciated by PSG's board and Luis Enrique. Bayern are currently 1 step ahead. They are in talks with Rennes and will soon make a second bid. So for those that don't know, Bayern have bid 35 million, and I can't remember if it's pounds or euros, for Doué, and it was turned down by Rennes.
Wow. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Young, promising kids are going for a lot of money these days. But it's funny that, well, there's another comment in here that from Audio Artisan that I liked.
Get to it. So
yeah.
He's got a question there. I know that. Is that the one you talked about, the question?
It was.
Let me start the question then, right?
Yep.
The Belgian Hotspur, when he's talking about Troy Parrott, yeah, I'm hoping, says, I hope we put a buyback clause. You score quite a few guys for a relegated team. Right, with Troy Parrott, if you're selling them for that cheap, right, I would have liked to think that, yeah, they have stuck a clause in there for him. Like, not even a buyback clause, but a sell-on clause, but they've stuck something in for him. Because that's a lot of money that can be made further down the line. Inner Hype says, I like the left back Bradley Locko. He played yesterday as well.
Were you impressed?
I was impressed with the whole French team. They look really good. They look slick. They look well oiled. They look but
unlike the national, like
no, they attacked and played football.
Nice.
Henry was a flair and an attacking player for all the teams that he played. Deschamps, as Ginola called him, was a water carrier.
Damn.
So Deschamps picks a workman-like team that's
sort
built
of reflects his own play.
that builds on defensive, and Henry picks an attacking team that reflects on what he used to do. They played absolutely brilliant.
But then you said they have Clichy in
Clichy. I don't know who the other person was, but I saw Gal Clichy on the bench as well.
That's kind of cool, you know, a Premier League reunion. You know.
So Fabrizio Romano now. Right, let me just see, because I'm trying to find the Tottenham stuff, but I might. Right, so Fabrizio Romano has now said that AC Milan have made contact with AS Roma for Tammy Abraham. He's one of the options being considered as Milan want 3 strikers for next season. Tammy will also be keen on the move. AC Milan plan also includes Alvaro Morata, Luka Jovic, plus 1 more striker. This was broken yesterday, but they're saying it again today, is that there is an offer for Emerson Royale from Al Nassr, which will be formalised later. We will see if the player is tempted by Al Nassr's interest. The gap in valuation between Spurs and Milan is far too high at present. Although they were saying it's only 5 million, so I don't know where that's come from.
Sorry to bring this up, but did you hear anything about Crystal Palace bidding for Edwards?
Yeah, that's on here today as well. I'm just trying to get to it now to try and find where it's going to appear again.
Yeah, so I've got it right here too.
Okay, go on. You read it out. Then I know about it because I've read it already. Go on.
Yeah, Crystal Palace officially bids 15 million euro for Marcus Edwards. Sporting are wanting 20 to 25 mil. Tottenham are also interested in the player. But this says 2 things to me. One, I think that maybe we take off that that buyback percentage that we have, or pay. I don't know. I think this could be used as like a deal sweetener for us to get Eze. I think that the Palace get Edwards in. They feel like they've kind of sort of got a replacement, and then that amount that we would be getting for the sell on. I think it's sell on clause. Yeah, the amount that we'd be getting for the sell on clause, we could just
35%. Yeah.
Yeah, which would it'd be 7 million or so. I mean, we could just give that to Crystal Palace, or pay them that much more for Eze. I don't know. I feel like, and just the fact that they're looking for a player in a similar position makes me happy. I know, of course, they got rid of Elise already, and the rumor is that they're trying not to get rid of Eze. But I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. And also, Tottenham are interested, and I think because of that, sell-on clause, we could get him for pretty cheap. So yeah, either we're in for him or Palace is, and if Palace is in for him, I think we could maybe use that to our advantage in our pursuits for Eze. Do you think that?
No, there could be something in there because some people are saying that already. You've got but Joris is saying that. He's saying we might be able to use Edwards' sell-on clause to sweeten them up for Eze, but
nice.
the sell-on clause is only 35%. So 35% of 15 million is 5.25 million.
Nothing crazy.
I think if they bid 15 million, 9.75 would go to the buying club, would go to the selling club, and the other remainder would go to Tottenham for their deal. But you're talking about, in order to make it 5.25 ain't that much money. You'd have to sell him for a lot more than that to chunk in. Do you see what I mean? To make it a lot higher, the structure. But 3 minutes ago, you've got Tottenham have rejected a formal offer from AC Milan for Emerson Royale. They're looking for at least 20 million euros for the right back. Dortmund are also keen on the Brazilian, and this has been tweeted by someone, and the source is Alistair Gold.
Hey, we know him.
Yeah, so the source is Alistair Gold. I'm trying to see where the other thing was. So, because there was a Marcus Edwards news there, and I couldn't find it. So, basically, light at the end of the tunnel is obviously we've got the Euros finishing the Euros and La Copa America finishes this weekend, And with it all finishing this weekend, it means that we think that the juggernaut and the domino effect will take place starting from next week, even though players have gone or began on their breaks. I'm still a firm believer that some of the negotiations and stuff like that have been done by agents and by clubs, and they're just not announcing things. Or that's what I'd like to think. And I'd like to think that Tottenham are one of many teams, although I don't care about many teams, I care about Tottenham, that are also doing this as well. That's St. JFM. Right, Athletic Football is saying, and I said, right, Everton are close to reaching an agreement with Tottenham over a revised payment structure for Dele Alli. Under the terms of Dele's move to Everton in January 2022, Tottenham would due a significant fee if the 28-year-old agreed a new contract at Goodison Park. Dele is a free agent after Everton contract expired at the end of last month. Discussions between Tottenham and Everton are ongoing over a revised payment structure that would allow excuse me that would allow Sean Dyche's side to re-sign Dele should they wish. As part of the deal, Tottenham are likely to retain a sell-on clause if Dele departs for Everton for a fee in the future. So there was people saying that Dele was training with some of the boys at Tottenham and was training with some of the other ex-pros and stuff like that. And I was asking the question, isn't he an Everton player? And so it's been answered because Everton stuck by him through the issues that he came out with. Everton have stuck by him. And I would have thought, that Everton would have still wanted him. But it's obvious that if there's going to be more monies involved on a player that's hardly played for them, that they're going to want to renegotiate. But by renegotiating, it sounds like that by renegotiating, they would take Dele back at Everton, which means that that's Premiership football. Me personally, I'm all for it. I'm all for do the structure and get Dele back playing, regardless if it be against an opponent. Let's just get Dele back on the pitch. Let's hope his mental health issues are sorted out, and let's get him back to playing football. Because if he can get anywhere near what player that he was, then we'll have a wonderful player to watch. Whether he's a friend or foe, he'd be a great player to watch.
Definitely. I'm a firm believer in that you don't just forget to play football. Your skills don't just disappear. It's not Space Jam, and everyone hasn't had their powers, sucked out of them by some, aliens. I mean, I think it's still deep down in there. And now that he's gotten his off the pitch stuff seemingly behind him, yeah, I'm really excited to see what he can do.
You've got. So I knew this would happen, but I'll come to the second one. So Rennes have rejected Bayern's first proposal for Desiree Doué worth over 35 million euros package. No agreement on the fee, while Bayern keep waiting for Xavi Simons' decision on his next club. And this is where all the crap starts, right? It's now 2 hours ago, and it's come from Sky Italia. RB Salzburg defender Stranja Pavlovic is becoming a higher priority for AC Milan than Emerson Royale.
Ooh.
Emerson failed to force his way into Ange Postecoglou's plans last season, restricting him to just 11 starts. So, as soon as you hear all this skullduggery going on, yeah, then agents will throw it in there, won't they? So an agent is now thrown in there, or someone, or the club's thrown it in there to say, we're now looking at somebody else. So I knew that wouldn't take long to appear. Trying to see if there's anything else here. Yeah, that's the Dele. Yeah, it's just the same stuff that we were saying. So,
it's
right.
Weird, though,
So, Sporting CP have rejected Crystal Palace's 15 million euro bid for Marcus Edwards. Sporting are demanding a 25 to 30 million euro fee. Spurs still retain a 35% sell-on clause from his previous sale to Sporting. Go on. Sorry, Colin, you were going to say something.
Oh. Well, I was just going to say it's weird that we would effectively price Emerson out of the market when he doesn't really have a spot at our club. We just picked up, another player that can play in his position. and we all knew that 50, I think 15 was about all that any of us thought that we would get out of him. And I think it's just, if we end up hanging on to him for another season and not getting money to put towards another player because we were holding out for 5 million extra, I'll be pissed off, to say the least. It would be a very Daniel Levy thing. But I thought those days might have been behind us. But if he sticks with us throughout the next season, I'll know that those days are not behind us.
Yeah. But for me, right, the issue that I've got, right, is that is Emerson Royale a good fullback?
Yeah.
Okay. Has Emerson Royale got a Brazilian passport?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So if Emerson Royale for anybody else in the world is worth 20 million, then why should Tottenham go and accept anything that's a lot lower than what their expectation is for him? Because that's basically what Milan are doing. Yeah. Milan can cough up 20 million pound, right? Because all you got to do is offer the 15 and the other 5 in add-ons that are achievable to take that to 20. It just means you prolong the other 5 million pound being paid, right? So there's no reason. So Tottenham are standing by their ground at the moment. How long they stand their ground for, I don't know. But it's about getting the money that players are worth. Listen, Jed Spence is worth more than bloody €8.5 million that Genoa are offering. I
Oh
believe
yeah,
that
of
I
course.
believe that Troy Parrott is worth more than the money that Alkmaar have offered for him.
Yeah,
But there's
exactly.
but there's ways of doing deals and there's ways of doing things. Um, and at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of players that Tottenham want to get rid of as well, but you're stuck with it. You don't either. You get rid of the players because you need to get rid of them, or and accept whatever for them just to get rid of them and off your books, or you're going to hang out and try and get some decent money for them. You know. Um, Another one from Fabrizio Romano via Give Me Sport is Tottenham Hotspur are in regular contact with the agent of Pedro Neto. For Neto, any transfer really depends on the fee. He has had many injuries, so Spurs would be happy to try again for Neto, but only in normal conditions, not crazy conditions. This is why the situation also depends on Wolves. So the latest I'd heard on this is that Tottenham would be willing to pay whatever for Neto if he was 50 million, but they would only pay 30 million in a transfer fee and make the rest up in add-ons that were achievable because of his injuries. So they would be injury-assisted add-ons, so to speak. Yeah, and that's
Hmm.
that's what they're looking for. So
I think that's a good. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if we got him at all. I think it'd be a good transfer. But you're right. The injury things are a big worry, and the fact that our medical team can't seem to ever get a player back fit for neither love nor money. That's kind of worrying. But I think Jazz is right. It says 30 million is right about the right price point.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
And Edem is saying Jose. Was Matthias Tell playing for France? No, Matthias Tell wasn't playing last night for France. I didn't see him appear at all. He thinks he's the best attacker in Europe. And with Matthias Tell, you don't know how long Harry Kane's going to go on for because his pathway at Bayern is being stopped by Kane because Kane gets. I think they play with one up front, don't they? And it's always Kane that plays. And Matthias Tell seems to be a substitute for Bayern and ends up coming on to replace him or ends up playing um, when it's a lesser known team or when it's one of the cup games and stuff like that. Um, Ryan G says, I highly doubt we'll sell for 30 million. I didn't say it would just be 30 million, Ryan. I said that the talk is to offer 30 million and structure the rest in add-ons. So you make it all up, whatever it is, but it's got to be on achievable add-ons. And the achievable add-ons
Performance based or
yeah, the achievable add-ons. A lot of it would be performance based. Well, no, I don't know. It would be
appearance
performance based,
based.
appearance based. I would have said, and yeah, minus injuries and stuff like that because no one can guarantee his injuries. I don't think even. Oh, sorry, Ryan. I don't think even Wolves know. Um, I don't think even Wolves know what type of Neto they're going to get either, because nobody else does, and I don't think Wolves know either. But it's no taking away from it. Ryan, you know the score. Neto's a super. When he's on it and he's fit, he's a dynamite player. He's a dynamite player, and he's currently a Wolves player
Very
for
true.
all intents and purposes. He's currently a Wolves player. Um, I think that's all the news I can see at the moment, mate. So
Yeah, I went ahead and had a look before, and I didn't really see anything either. Just the fights breaking out in the Copa America or after the Copa America match. A nice interview where not an interview, but a nice little thing where they asked Sonny who he wanted to win, and he said that he wanted England to win the Euros because he wants Harry Kane to win it, the best England player in history, he says, which is nice that there's still love between those two guys. Of course there is. Um, so that's always nice. But yeah, nothing huge,
So
nothing huge.
sorry, whilst I got Ryan in here, right? I heard this on the radio earlier because I've been working, so I had the radio on in the background. It says Wolves consider. This is from Ben Jacobs, reputable. He's a tier one source. He's reputable. He says Wolves consider Huang He Chang as not for sale. Marseille had a 21 million offer rejected.
What a
That's
random
good,
amount, 21
right?
million.
No counter or asking price has been named. Wolves simply don't wish to sell. So when Marseille came in with a 21, instead of Wolves saying no, if you come nearer to 30, we'll sell. Wolves have gone in and have turned around and not countered or named an asking price. So that clearly states that Wolves want to keep
The
Huang
player.
Yi Chang.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, hey, and then this is also isn't really news, but did you see that? Because no one cares because he's not a Spurs player anymore. But Sissoko returns to Watford on a 2-year deal.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's back. He's back from France on a 2-year free. He
that's
got
awesome.
he got a free move back from France.
He must have showed
That's
something there then that they wanted him. That they wanted him back. Yeah, I know it's a free and everything, but that's awesome. Good for Sissoko.
Sissoko, right, was he was a good player to have in the club. He was good in the changing room. Players all liked him. He
Could
was,
fill in at multiple positions and would give
yeah,
it his all no matter
but,
where you put him.
but without that, he'd always give it his all. But he was a good person to be in the squad. All the players liked him and that. Had respect from that. He gelled with everybody there. And at the end of the day, if you've got, however, whatever was going on, if the players are all harmonious with each other, then that's superb.
Absolutely. So yeah, good for him. Good for
Yeah,
him being back at a place where he seemed happy and they seemed to be happy with him.
yeah. So that's it, really. I haven't got any other information to give out, to be honest.
No, there's not a whole lot out there.
No.
I did see Davison Sanchez punched. He's not our player, but Davison Sanchez punched a dude in the stomach in the Copa America, Uruguay versus Colombia. Punched a dude in the stomach. That was pretty cool.
Do you know who
As
hasn't been charged by the Americans?
who's that?
Luis Suarez.
Was he part of?
No, on the pitch, he went to bite a Colombian defender.
Wait, wasn't this a long time ago?
No.
Wait, he tried to bite somebody again?
Yeah, the Colombian defender. I showed the clip of it yesterday. It was on Twitter. I
Fuck
showed it whilst we were
me.
on the show yesterday. He's gone in, and then the defender sort of like pushed him, and then he's gone to say, who did he go? He went. He then went over to James and shook James' hand, and then came back again. So yeah, he's gone to bite, but obviously the Americans don't care about.
This is only the third time or something crazy.
Yeah,
Quit biting people, you Looney Tune. Like, what the hell?
Jazz Fusion says he plays for Miami, so he's got a free pass.
It's true. That's
And
true.
Ryan says Suarez the vampire. And whilst we're here,
Ooh,
look who's just come in. Wagwan, Mr. Jose, and Wagwan, Mr. Colin from Dana Cullen.
what's up, Donna? Yeah,
Um,
Suarez is a freak. He needs to quit biting people.
right, when Colin, because I've got to go and get ready to go and play football. When are you next on, mate?
So it's a great question. I'm off tomorrow, so more than likely at some point tomorrow, and
Yay!
it'll be like early afternoon for us U.S. folks and evening time for you guys in the old United Kingdom / rest of Europe.
Yay!
Yeah.
So watch out, everyone, for the notification bell on Talk and Ball, because
And
he's coming at you.
yep. And also, if you don't care, I'm gonna put in the chat my anime channel link.
Okay, yeah. So if anyone's interested in anime, I was talking to Colin about this yesterday. Colin's now got an anime channel as well.
And it's crap right now because I haven't got enough subs to do what I want to do. I'm trying to get some live streams going.
So
Yeah,
Colin, in order to get live streams, he just needs the numbers to get him to be able to do the live streams, and then he can start doing content on there as well. So even if you don't watch anime, just if you give him a sub, you'll help me to wait. I think you need another 23, don't you?
yeah, 23
Yeah,
exactly.
23. If you can get 23 more subs, he can actually go and start doing lives and that.
Sweet.
But
I'm gonna put it in the chat if you don't care.
yeah, no. Right. So Mr. Colin is going to put his channel. It's there.
The anime. That's me.
The anime. Right. So if people go and sub to the anime, right, then it means that Colin can get. Oh look, you've got audio. Like audio saying interesting. I love a bit of manga and anime.
Boom. Yeah. Hey, me too, man. So far, it's just crap. It's just a bunch of really dumb shorts, but I'm just trying to get some engagement. I was trying to organically get subs, but if if you guys could help, that would be so much better. And then I can get these lives going when new chapters and new shows come out, new episodes. We can talk about it live. I think a lot of this niche, the anime channels, are all pre-recorded, so I want to bring some live stuff to that community, and I think it could be great.
So what you need to do is when you do shows tomorrow or whatever, you need to, like I told you, you need to be putting it on there as well on your thing. But you've got 32 now.
Yeah, man,
So
that's incredible.
you've jumped up by 5.
Wow, guys, thank you so much. Truly, truly, truly appreciate it. I'll try not to inundate you with dumb anime shit, but thank you guys. I appreciate you more than you know. And just full discretion, everything that's on there right now is trash. It will be getting better when I can do what I'm wanting to do. So Ryan G, thank you. Audio, thank you. Everyone else that subbed, thank you. I truly appreciate you guys. Big time.
Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
I've subbed as well, by the way.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries at all. So, with that, yeah, hit the notification bell for Colin on Talk and Ball, who will be on tomorrow. I've got a feeling that Alan will be around with Colin tomorrow.
You are correct.
Who
Yep.
knows if Jose might be around for Colin tomorrow as well.
That would be lovely.
But yeah, so hit the notification bell. The likelihood is it's either Sunday night or it'll be Monday afternoon that I'll come on.
You're trying to wait for some transfer news.
No, Sunday night is because the final's being played Sunday. So
Okay.
night, and if it gets too
wild, if you get a little too radical.
if it gets too convoluted on YouTube because everyone wants to talk about it, then I might have to wait till the Monday to do a show. So it's either Sunday night or Monday that I'll be on. I'm on an Hotel Cockerel, but may make appearances between now and when I'm next on here on others' channels. Who knows?
Who knows? He's everywhere, that Jose. So.
But with that, yeah, I thank everybody in the chat for joining us today, whether you've just been in the chat here on YouTube or whether you've been on the chat on Twitter or X, as you call it. It'd be nice to get some more comments from people from X because we can see that they're coming in from X on our chats because they've got a symbol to it. And for the people on X, I'd read your comments out. If you comment in, I'll read them out because you become part of the show, and we can read your comments out as well. So, no further ado. You got any last words, Colin?
Be good to yourself, be good to others, and have a wonderful, safe weekend.
That's not bad. That's not bad. And for me, it's come on, you mighty Spurs. And as always, in Ange we trust. Take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.